The observation deck of the Stellar Haven station hummed with the usual cacophony of interstellar commerce. Erin Vale stood at her maintenance console, fingers dancing across holographic displays as she rerouted power conduits. Her movements were efficient, practiced, but those who knew her well might notice the slight tremor in her left hand, the way she kept her shoulders angled away from the crowd. "I'm fine," she'd said that morning when Commander Thel Vox had asked about the bruise shadowing her jawline. She'd smiled, that careful, measured smile humans were so good at, and blamed it on a clumsy encounter with a cargo container. Thel Vox had believed her. Most would have. But Krex didn't. The young Vaxorian sat perched on a supply crate 30 meters away, his amber eyes never leaving Erin's form. At 8 cycles old, Krex was barely past cubhood by his species standards, but his predatory instincts were already razor-sharp. He'd been orphaned in a pirate raid and taken in by the station's community, with Erin volunteering to be his guardian advocate, a human with a soft heart and stubborn determination, to help those the galaxy had forgotten. She'd taught him to read standard, to navigate human customs, to understand that not all beings operated on instinct and claw. In return, he'd learned to recognize the thousands of micro-expressions that danced across human faces, the subtle language of a species that survived by reading each other. And right now, every fiber of his being screamed that something was wrong. Krex had seen the bruise 3 days ago. Then, the split lip, 2 days ago, carefully covered with cosmetic paste. Yesterday, the way Erin flinched when maintenance supervisor Doran approached her station. Today, the tremor. Humans lied. They lied to protect themselves, to protect others, to maintain what they called social harmony. Krex's people didn't understand it, couldn't comprehend why prey would deny their wounds instead of seeking pack protection. But Krex was learning. He was learning that sometimes the pack had to protect its members even when they insisted they didn't need it. He dropped from the crate with barely a sound and began to shadow Erin's movements through the station. When she finished her shift and headed toward the residential quarters, he followed at a distance, his claws retracted to silence his footfalls. Other cubs, 3 Vaxorians and 2 from the insectoid Cuthrell species, fell in beside him without a word. They'd been watching too. They'd seen what he'd seen. Cubs talked, cubs shared, and cubs protected their humans. Erin's route took her through Corridor 7B, a dimly lit passage that maintenance had been meaning to upgrade for months. She walked quickly, head down, but not quickly enough. Doran emerged from a side junction, his bulk blocking her path. "Vale, we need to discuss your performance reports." From his hiding spot behind a ventilation unit, Krex's lips peeled back from his fangs. The other cubs tensed. "Ready." "Sir, I've submitted everything on schedule," Arin began. But Doran was already advancing. "That's not good enough. You've been sloppy, distracted." Erin backed against the wall, and Krex saw what others missed: the way her breathing had gone shallow, the tremor spreading from her hand to her entire arm. She was terrified, but she kept her voice steady. "I'll do better. I promise. You said that last time." Doran's hand shot out, gripping her upper arm hard enough to leave marks. "Maybe you need another reminder about." He never finished the sentence. Krex moved first, a blur of ochre fur and righteous fury. He hit Doran at knee level. Claws extended just enough to shred fabric, but not flesh yet. The supervisor stumbled, releasing Erin with a yelp of surprise. The other cubs followed instantly. They didn't attack, not exactly. They surrounded Doran in a loose circle, hissing and clicking, their young voices surprisingly menacing in the confined space. More cubs appeared from adjoining corridors. Word had spread through their networks. Within seconds, 15 young predators had the human male surrounded. "What the get away from me?" Doran tried to push through, but everywhere he turned, claws and teeth barred his path. "The cubs don't seem to like you, Supervisor," came a new voice. Captain Selthresh emerged from the shadows, her forearms crossed over her chitinous thorax. The Krathian security chief had been a warrior before taking this posting, and her reputation preceded her. Behind her came Commander Thel Vox and 3 security officers. Krex didn't move from his position in front of Aaron. His body language was clear. Through me, first. This is ridiculous, Doran sputtered. These animals attacked me. Vale. Tell them. Miss Vale, Captain Selthresh interrupted, her multifaceted eyes fixed on Aaron. The Cubs have been compiling evidence. They've recorded 17 instances of Supervisor Doran cornering you in isolated areas over the past 2 months. They've cataloged your injuries. They've even managed to access security footage that Doran deleted from the official systems. Cubs are very good at getting into places they shouldn't, Thelvox added dryly. And, apparently, very good at protecting their pack. Aaron's carefully maintained composure finally cracked. Tears streamed down her face as she slid down the wall to sit on the deck plating. Krex immediately pressed against her side, purring a sound Vaxorians made only for family. I'm sorry, she whispered, her hands buried in his fur. I should have said something. I thought I could handle it. Thought if I stayed quiet, kept my head down. Humans, Captain Selthresh said with something that might have been affection, always trying to carry their burdens alone. You forget you joined a galactic community now. We protect our own. As security led a protesting Doran away, the Cubs settled around Aaron like a protective wall of fur, scales, and chitin. Krex rested his head on her knee, amber eyes reflecting ancient predatory wisdom. She'd taught him about humanity, about their resilience, their compassion, their infuriating tendency to sacrifice themselves for others. Now he'd taught her something his species had known for millennia. That true strength wasn't in suffering alone, but in letting your pack stand with you. Thank you, Aaron whispered, scratching behind Krex's ears. He chirped softly in response. Next time, he'd make sure she never had to whisper, I'm fine, again, because the Cubs were watching. The Cubs were always watching, and they would always, always protect their human.